Where does AI comes in at? Well, once everything, according to the synagogue of Satan, is placed into AI, there'll no longer be a need for the people under that original model. And folks, the construct will not be able to hold the number of people under the new model, which will force what? The people to turn on one another everywhere. And that's when the so-called elites are going to sit back and allow people to just pillage and kill one another until they get that number down to a manageable population, and that's when they're seeking to engage. This is why AI is over everything, so that they can take all these jobs and everything slowly out of the way and make it where we're in a society that none of us have adjusted ourselves to live under. And then there's also models that comes with the spirit of AI that will be operating with the robots, who now without conscience are going to be used as the military, as the police to get rid of people. AI going to be programmed, and who do you think they're going to program AI to come after? The righteous. Okay? So the police are saying, well, hold up. We're going to be fine. You think so? The police are going to be the robots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's where we're going. Because what? The blood sacrifice in that model is what? Required. It's too many people. We've figured out and identified the man of sin. He can no longer hide under being the chosen people anymore. So now they're going over to the robots and AI, snatching that whole empire model away, so that now the people will have no choice but to come against one another for the sake of survival. But the Most High has a hedge over those who follow his law, who are in Christ, and who are preparing for that moment. And I'm going to tell you this. Without us even trying, by doing the work of the Almighty, he done placed things in place to begin to prepare for that moment. But it's not just going to take something tangible at the end of it. It's going to take the Spirit of the Almighty to hedge us and direct us through it.
That's right.
Which I have every confidence he's going to do so. When they turn this thing over to the machines, because now the synagogue of Satan is being revealed now, and no one trusts them. That's why they brought other people over, black and brown people, for the soft kill. And now we recognize them and pushing back on them. And now they're dealing with the machines and can put all the data of the genetics in the machines and say, okay, it's time to cut the machines loose on them. But that's going to be down the line. We got a few years for that. They're still waiting for God's people who don't understand what's going on to attack and to destroy each other first. Because a lot of people have the stuff in them. A lot of people are on drugs. A lot of people are being controlled by the Antichrist in their minds. And through that, triggered to go against their own. Let me read it real quick. Elder Lawyer, real quick. I only got about 15 more minutes. I got about 30 more minutes, actually. I'll do 15 minutes, then open it up. We're going to the parts in 12 parts. is that tribulation divided. Folks, what am I telling you? The mind of the Baphomet that makes empire is being turned over to Satan himself, the principalities and powers of the air. We recognize their priesthood now. They can no longer trick us through their military, their science, or their schooling. They can't trick us anymore. Their priesthood has now become obsolete. So Satan himself must connect to the people. That's why they dealt with all those injections and all that that's prophesied from Revelation, the 9th chapter. That prick of the scorpion. So that he can sit in the minds of the people and deal directly with them, because we're no longer following the priesthood. And the priesthood is getting shaky because the people in the earth outpopulate them and now do not trust them. So Baal must connect directly with the people through and it must go into your bloodstream that connects you directly to him. So now through that, he can now, through the people, make his own priesthood, make his own military, make his own child sacrifices. But he don't even need the priesthood. He can go directly through the people, sitting in the minds of the people as their new God. That's the plan. That's the model that came to me, and I drew it on a piece of paper earlier out of nowhere, and immediately I shot it to AC. And thank you, Brother James. You did a great job in bringing to life the vicious cycle we were born under, that we've been ignorant to. And there's only one way out of this. That's Christ. Let's read the parts real quick, Elder, because we have a meeting to attend. All right.
Yes, sir.
We're in. So based on this, the prophet seen the end. The prophet seen the end and what it would entail. So now we understand the model in place. Let's now show that the prophet seen the last prophecies before Christ would need to return to save us out of this. Let's read 27:1. Read that.
Yes, sir. 2 Baruch 27:1. And he answered and said unto me, into 12 parts is that time divided, and each of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. In the first part there shall be the beginning of commotions.
The beginning of commotions. So now that we're coming to the end where the man of sin can no longer hide himself, now they've created what? Commotions like riots and all of this all over the earth. Commotions, unrest. The second part.
And in the second part, there shall be slayings of the great ones.
There shall be slaying of the great ones. Like I'm hearing after those who listen to what the talking satanic heads told them, I see many people just dropping dead. It's slaying of our people. Read.
And in the third part, the fall of many by death.
The fall of many by death. Died suddenly. People, young people, just dropping dead for nothing at all. But those who are under Christ's hedge, who listen to Christ, opposed and know what the mission is against us. Opposed to the people who would ignorantly follow the Baal empire, have become the sacrifice that was required. Without them doing that sacrifice, when they shut everything down, folks, they would not have been given the power to do what we're seeing now with AI. They got enough deaths so that now Satan gave them more wisdom to gain power over the earth as priests. They cannot have the next level of ingenuity without a certain number of people dying. That's the model. Read all the Canaanite records. Satan would say, well, listen, I'm not going to give you no information on how to protect yourself from all those people. All right? And we can stand still and the people will get restless and kill you off. Or you can give us some sacrifices and I'll give you more information that will preserve your stinking life alive. That's the plan. That's their model. That's what it means to sell your soul. And in the fourth part, what?
And the fourth part, the sending of the sword.
The sending of the sword. Sending people off to war with these bogus excuses. Weapons of mass destruction. Iran is enriching uranium. Not telling people what the real narrative is under their religion. More blood is required. And in the fifth what?
And in the fifth part, famine and the withholding of rain.
Famine and the withholding of rain. Folks, that also comes into what? That comes into austerity. Farmers depended on rain for their crops so that what? So that they can sustain their families through the tough seasons. That's austerity. Well, you're not going to be able to make enough to feed yourselves. And the sixth part.
And in the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors.
Earthquakes and terrors. In the book of Revelation, it talks about a great earthquake, and out of it came those spirits. And through those spirits, they would give the scientists knowledge to kill the majority of the earth, like we seen when things shut down. And folks, that was just the beta test before the real thing is rolled out under the mark of the beast. Read in the eighth part.
And in the eighth part, a multitude of specters and the attacks of the Shadim.
We're going to witness more what they call mental health issues. People walking around possessed by demons. And the 11th.
And in the 10th part, much rapine and much oppression.
And in the 10th part, rapine and much oppression. Just out of nowhere, let's just lay off 500,000 people. With no end in sight concerning a job that would ever pay the salaries our people have come accustomed to having. Forget about those high earning jobs. It's over. It's over. Much rapine and much oppression. Life is going to create greater pressures that we cannot afford. And in the 11th part.
And in the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity.
And in the 11th part, straight wickedness, unexplained wickedness and unchastity, where there's no more honor and love over our temples. To be given callously without care. Now, of course, Satan would create an environment like this, because if you have wickedness and unchastity, you'll have more people pregnant who would desire to get rid of their baby. If the baby wasn't made out of love, how can you love it? Now, under the model, they can get more what? Blood sacrifice through abortion. It's required under their system. They just made it. They was able to clean it up so that we didn't realize we're all living in one big satanic ritual of an empire Christ has saved us out of. And I thank the Most High to be able to see this, the truth, to be able to see the word and understand the difference between God's world and Satan's empire. In the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity. And in the 12th part, what?
Confusion from the mingling together of all those things aforesaid.
And in the 12th part, confusion of all these 12 things mingled together.